Hello there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. So, I'm trying to be kind of quiet right now because my dad and his girlfriend are taking a nap in the next room, and I don't really want to disturb them. Also, I'm trying out a new lighting situation, so hopefully, I'm not as pale as I usually am in these videos. Anyway, for today's video, I'm going to be telling you the ancient Greek story of Baucis and Philemon, two people whose story proves that kindness and hospitality will be rewarded, as opposed to inhospitality and indifference, which will be punished. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe down below since that always helps. And without further ado, here is the story of Baucis and Philemon. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Phrygia, there was a small town that went by the name of Tyana. This town was rumored to have a reputation, one of terrible hospitality. These rumors, told and retold across the land, mentioned how, whenever anyone asked for shelter, they would be immediately turned away. These rumors eventually made their way up to the palace of Olympus, and when they reached Zeus, he did not believe them to be true. He summoned his son, Hermes, the messenger, and said to him, "Hermes, my son, have you heard these rumors about Tyana in Phrygia?" "You mean the rumors that the people there are completely lacking in hospitality towards others?" Hermes replied. "Yeah, I've heard those rumors. But, father, come on, you cannot possibly believe that they're true." Zeus thought about it. "I don't believe they're true. However, I do think we should go and see for ourselves if they're true. Don't you think?" Now, Hermes was a trickster and thus always down for a little mischief, and he agreed to tag along as a second witness. "Father, I don't think we should go as ourselves," he said. "You see, if we appear to them as gods, they wouldn't dare treat us terribly. But if we disguised ourselves as lowly beggars—" Zeus agreed, and the two gods threw on some ragged beggar disguises and traveled to Tyana. When they got there, they walked up to the nearest house. Zeus knocked on the door and waited until it opened. The woman who answered the door only saw two men run completely ragged. "Good day, madam," Zeus said to her. "My son and I have traveled a long way, and we are in need of a hot meal and a place to stay for the night." No sooner had these words left his lips than the woman slammed the door right in his face. Shocked, the two beggars traveled to another house, and then another, and then another. But no matter what house they traveled to, they found the response to be the same every single time. It was only until they found the last house that they found the exception to the rule. This house belonged to a poor elderly couple by the name of Baucis and Philemon. When Baucis opened the door and saw two bedraggled men, she immediately took pity on them and invited them inside. "You poor dears, you look half starved," she said. "Come, come, sit yourselves by the hearth." Zeus and Hermes were surprised at the couple's hospitality, but after the way the other houses treated them, they welcomed it. The house was disheveled, and the couple obviously didn't have much, but they were willing to share what little they had with the two beggars. Baucis laid out a small loaf of bread and a small bowl of olives, while her husband set out a jug of homemade wine. The two beggars ate and drank, but the old couple noticed strange things. It seemed that, no matter how many olives were taken from the bowl, it never seemed to empty. Same with the jug of wine. It was always full, no matter how much their guests drank. The loaf of bread, whenever a guest took a piece, always seemed to replenish itself. Baucis and Philemon were in awe of these small miracles, but the final signal that something wasn't quite what it seemed was when Philemon decided to kill their only goose to feed their guests. Instead, the goose seemed to jump out of his reach, run over to their guests, and jump into the older beggar's lap. Once dinner was over, the elder of the two beggars turned toward the couple and said, "I thank you for your hospitality. In fact, my son and I wanted to grant you a reward, if you please." The elderly couple were confused. "Good sirs," Philemon said, "giving you a place to rest and food in your bellies is reward enough." "Be that as it may," the younger beggar said, "my father and I do have something for you, if you'll just follow us to the top of the nearby hill." Perplexed, the couple followed the beggars up the hill, with explicit instructions not to look back until they reached the top. When the four travelers reached the top of the hill, there came a loud crashing sound behind them. The beggars then told the couple to turn around. When they did, they figured out the sound of the crash. Where the village once was, there was nothing but a lake surrounding where their house was. And where their house used to be, there stood a beautiful golden temple. The couple were shocked at what they found, but when they turned, they saw that where the beggars once were, two gods stood in their place. Zeus, dressed in robes fit for a king of Olympus, and his son Hermes, the messenger, his winged shoes and cap fluttering gently in the breeze. "Baucis and Philemon," Zeus addressed them, "you granted us hospitality when no one else did." "You shared all that you had," Hermes said, "even though you knew it wasn't much, and for that we thank you." "As a reward," Zeus continued, "you are to be the stewards of this temple, and I will grant you a long and healthy rest of your lives." "Also," Hermes said, "whatever request you ask, we will grant it to you." Baucis and Philemon thought and discussed what their request would be. Then they smiled and knew exactly what they wanted. "My lords," Philemon addressed the two gods, "my wife and I are old, and we have been in love with each other since we were young. So our request," Baucis continued, "is that, since we are together until death comes for one of us, please, when it's time, let death come for both of us." Zeus pondered this request and chuckled. "Very well, it shall be as you requested. When death comes for one of you, the other shall go as well." From that day forward, Baucis and Philemon were the stewards of the temple, cleaning it, taking care of it, and taking in those who needed hospitality. Also, as they requested, when the time came for them to enter the next life, they entered it together, and their bodies grew and became two trees, an oak and a linden, their branches intertwined together, to remind those who saw them of the love that not even death could separate. And there we have it. That was the story of Baucis and Philemon. Quite a cute story, huh? If you like this video and you want more, please give this video a like and subscribe down below so you don't miss any new videos. Also, if there are any other ideas that you would like to see in future videos, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and who knows, it might just happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I will see you all next week with a brand new one. See you guys then.